You know how it is. You gotta put
No, use the camera. How you doing? I love a clipper right there.
Hey, how you doing, baby? How are you?
My boys be like,
Hey, sweetie.
sit up right where he told you.
Y'all be all right?
Wonderful.
I got to start by saying just thank God for a wonderful day and a wonderful crowd. And we're going to have Reggie do a little quick celebration of our 50th birthday. Hit it, maestro. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, SIUE! Yay! Hi, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Joyce McKinney's husband. I'm Percy. And I'll be up here just for a brief moment. We were going to have an invocation by Minister Anita Brandon, but she had some situations that would not let her come today, so Sandra asked me to do an invocation. I'm not very good at this, but let me say something or share something with you that I read. When my daughter graduated from college, the minister spoke about a chapter in Micah, chapter 6, verse 8, where the people kind of got away from the Lord and they were wondering, what do we do to get back home? Do we sacrifice our lambs, our rams, our olive oil? Do we do any of that? Do we give up gold? Do we sacrifice stuff? No. All you got to do is love each other, do right, and walk humbly with God. And I believe, ladies and gentlemen, we're here today because we've done that. So I just want to say happy birthday, SIU, and let's do it again.
Here.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as a listening skies. Let it resound loud as a rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. God bless.
Good afternoon. I'm Amos Schofield. I'm the other master of ceremony, and I am going to introduce the individual who will give us the welcome. And I'm very proud to do this because I can go from ground zero all the way up to today. When Patricia Harrison came to us, she was almost, she would be carded if she went somewhere. She would almost be carded. And I watched her in the Upward Bound Science Awareness Program teach excellent biology. It was not long after that that she became the director of the Upward Bound Science Awareness Program. And she did a fine job there. She moved from the director of Upward Bound to the assistant director of the East St. Louis Center. And from there, as you know, she is currently the executive director of the center. And I can really speak with authority on that because I saw it happen. We're very pleased to bring to the mic Patricia Harrison.
Thank you, Dr. Cofield. I wasn't quite carded. But I did come right out of college, and it has been a very, very good experience for me. Good afternoon, and welcome to SIUE East St. Louis Center's Founders Day celebration commemorating the 50th anniversary of Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. This is certainly an exciting day, and we are pleased to have all of you join us, all of our regional, local, and area dignitaries. We're certainly pleased to have you join us today. As we reflect back on 50 years of educational and public service throughout the Metro East, I would like to acknowledge all of the students, Center Advisory Council members, and supporters who have been a part of and contributed to the university's East St. Louis operations. Just as you have been with us and joined us for so many events for so many years, we knew that you would be here today joining us in celebrating our 50th birthday. We have been and remain privileged to have your support and to be able to call you our partners. For those who joined us for the parade just a few minutes ago, I want to thank you for sharing the drive, the ride, and the walk with us. At this time, we would like to bestow a special tribute upon 4 individuals who have played a significant role in bringing the East St. Louis Center to where it is today. We are honored to have joining us 3 of the former center directors and their guests, as well as family members of the 4th. A few months ago, for a very special event for the center, information was gathered from each of them about their experiences and memories as director. I would like to present each of them to you and share some of their thoughts and memories in describing their tenure. As I introduce each one, I would ask that you come forward and remain and be recognized before this audience. And I will ask Ms. Sandra Fields to come up and assist me. Okay? From 1970 to 1976, Arthur Greist led the center. He says that some of his most memorable moments were moving into the Broadview Hotel building and collaborating with local, state, and national agencies in testing theories about how to educate college-bound students lacking adequate preparation. He enjoyed working to improve urban education. He says he misses most the camaraderie and sense of purpose shared by all East St. Louis Center employees in their pursuit of the awesome goal of attempting to correct past educational deficiencies. I asked Dr. Greist to come forward, and I would also like to acknowledge his wife who's here with us, Nancy Greist. And please remain. Dr. Emil Jason served as director of the East St. Louis Center from 1976 to 1982. Dr. Jason explored opportunities to enhance center operations through the final years of the experiment in higher education and the center's move to public service program development. Being a scientist himself, Dr. Jason possessed the expertise of exploring new ideas and experimenting with new services. Though activities of EHE culminated, the East St. Louis Center forged ahead on the path of bringing quality public service to the area. He remained in contact with the center until his death in 2002. We remember and acknowledge the legacy of Dr. Emil Jason, and we are pleased to have with us today his son, Carl Jason Sr. I'm sorry, his brother. He looks so young to me today. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. His brother, Carl Jason Sr., and we're pleased to have him also here with his wife, Ann Jason. In 1982, Mrs. Janetta Haley joined in the history of the East St. Louis Center directorship. Serving as director, she says, was one of the most important parts of her 49-year career span. She says she was changed professionally and personally through the opportunity of leading in the planning and implementation of programs to benefit the total community of East St. Louis through her retirement in 1994. With a background of professor in music, Mrs. Haley's artistic nature shined in the delivery of program services as well as through the physical appearance of the center. Staffing of the center more than tripled under her direction, and services to the community were expanded throughout the county. Mrs. Haley says the wonderful cooperation of staff is what impacted her most, and she misses the shared experiences of working with staff in positioning the center to achieve national recognition in higher education. I would ask that Ms. Haley come forward, and she has a special guest with her today, Professor Philip Hampton. Please come forward. Having worked at the center in previous positions, Dr. Willie Epps brought vision and continuity upon his appointment as director in 1994. With an education background, Dr. Epps believed that the secret to winning the hard-fought battle against poverty and humble beginnings is education. A true visionary, throughout his tenure as director, Dr. Epps brought many an idea to assist residents in overcoming barriers and challenges impacting their economic and educational progress. Under his leadership, local, state, and federally funded education programs more than doubled. He says his most memorable moments were those that brought people together to work as one. He was impacted most by and enjoyed bringing in new grants and building partnerships throughout the community. Growth of the center was certainly his foresight. From his appointment through his retirement in 2001, Dr. Epps worked to place the East St. Louis Center on the map as one of the most prominent one-stop, one-shop public service entities in an urban community. I would like to ask Dr. Epps to come forward, and he is joined today by his daughter, Beatrix Washington. We thank each of you for coming to be with us today, your SIUE and East St. Louis Center family. For all that you have done, we present to you a special memento for your contributions to us at the center and to the many for whom you served as an advocate who benefited from your educational vision and passion. Please accept this scroll of honor presented this 26th day of September 2007, which reads, acknowledging the leadership of Arthur L. Grice, Sr., 1970 to 1976, Emil F. Jason, 1976 to 1982, Janetta Randolph Haley, from 1982 to 1994, and Willie James Epps, Sr., from 1994 to 2001, as Southern Illinois University Edwardsville East St. Louis Center Director. The scroll also reads, a solid foundation guarantees lasting endurance, unyielding strength, and extraordinary success. You have paved the way through your guidance and vision and have laid the ground for all that is now and all that is to come. You are deeply embedded into the foundation of the Southern Illinois University Edwardsville East St. Louis Center. We will never forget that your efforts brought us to where we are now. You have left a legacy of triumph, a uniqueness in style, and position of prominence for the center. Through your leadership, the center has been enhanced, become stronger, and earned respect. You are our pedestal as we work now and plan our future. We dedicate to you this excerpt from the poem, Drop a Pebble in the Water, by James W. Foley. Drop a pebble in the water, just a splash, and it is gone. But there's 1/2 ripples circling on and on and on, spreading from the center, flowing on out to the sea, and there is no way of telling where the end is going to be. Drop a pebble in the water, in a minute you forget. But there's little waves of flowing, and there's ripples circling yet. And those little waves of flowing to a great big wave have grown. You've disturbed a mighty river just by dropping in a stone. Thank you for your vision, your leadership, and direction in impacting the growth of the East St. Louis Center during your years of service. We honor you for the ripples you made and the mighty river you disturbed in bringing educational opportunities to so many. Your legacy has been historic in empowering people and strengthening communities throughout the service region. As further recognition of your work and contributions and the fact that you are forever rooted into the history of the East St. Louis Center, in addition to the presentation of this scroll, we have designed a wall of honor in the Center's administrative office on which your picture will hang as a tribute to your legacy. I now ask that this audience salute you with a warm round of applause. Thank you. Thank you, and you can be seated.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have now entered a new era for the SIUE East St. Louis Center. We are excited with the energy, enthusiasm, and commitment of our higher administration and leadership that trickles down to each of us throughout all levels. I now call to the podium one of those administrators who fuels our passion to forge ahead. Our Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs joined the SIUE family on July 1, 2006. He has played a significant role in enhancing awareness of center operations throughout the university and provides the leadership in bridging center programs with academic units of the university. He has continuously supported the efforts of East St. Louis Center staff and always ensured that the center is an integral part of his vision for academic and public service success of the university. As well, he has always fit into his busy schedule center activities, whether they be held at dawn, midday, or dusk. With a sharp and witty personality and a welcoming and approachable leadership style, he has made the work of the center significant and enjoyable. Dr. Paul Ferguson is a native of Southern California and has earned a bachelor's in biology and PhD in pharmacology toxicology. He has held positions at the University of Louisiana Monroe, Unical Corporation in Los Angeles, and the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I now call to the podium my supervisor and boss, the Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Dr. Paul Ferguson.
Well, thank you so very much, Pat. That was a wonderful introduction. I had nothing to do with that, and the Chancellor leaned over to me and said, I hope you do as well on my introduction. There is no guarantee of that. It is so wonderful to be with you today and really celebrate what a wonderful and rich tradition of the former directors. Thank you so much for your work and laying the foundation for the wonderful programming we have today. That tradition, rich, historical, and now today we have really a wonderful contemporary education center. Based on that tradition, we have just a wonderful collaboration, and thank you, Pat, for sharing those words, because I think we are renewed in our collaboration. And just on a personal note, the best illustration of that wonderful collaboration that Pat talks about that I value with her, nobody would get me to wear a red shirt other than Pat Harrison. And all of my colleagues at SIUE know that to be true. And they're looking at me saying, what in the world are you wearing? But Mr. Mayor, you thought it was fine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Good.
Mr. Mayor said it was fine and stand tall today. So I am, and I really appreciate it. But based on this tradition and this wonderful tradition of collaboration, the university has enjoyed a rich partnership and a renewed partnership with the East St. Louis Center. The kind of academic program with the College of Arts and Sciences, the School of Education, School of Engineering, as well as our healthcare programs in nursing, pharmacy, and dental medicine are really broadening the kinds of opportunities that East St. Louis families have. And I think that we continue to look for strategic new ways. Our academic deans are committed to that kind of relationship. And one or more of those units has contributed to the charter school, Upward Bound, Head Start, and Project Success. And we continue to try to find unique collaborative efforts to build our programs, to provide student opportunities, and to tighten and create a strong partnership. The recently formed Community Advisory Council now adds a new dimension of partnership to our academic endeavor with enhanced community involvement in center activities. And I've been very blessed to be a part of that advisory council on a number of occasions. The 50th anniversary event is truly a celebration of the enduring strength and commitment of so many individuals that have been devoted to each student passing through the programs of the East St. Louis Center. I love seeing the students here with us today. I know you share with me in the pride and gratitude for all the service of the East St. Louis folks, as well as the success of our students. So thank you all so very much. I really have the wonderful opportunity to introduce a few people here this afternoon. I first of all would like to begin with the Vice Chancellors at Southern Illinois University Edwardsville, who work together as an integrated team to promote the welfare of the East St. Louis Center and the vision of the university. First, Ken Neer, the Vice Chancellor for Administration. Nobi Emanuel, the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. And Gary Giamartino, the Vice Chancellor for University Relations. I'm really proud to be a part of the administrative team that is so committed to the vision of this institution. Another couple of individuals are joining us this afternoon who, when we talk about a rich tradition, are always a part of that view in most everybody's mind. Chancellor Emeritus David Warner and his wife Kay, if they would just stand. At part of our kickoff convocation on Monday morning, Chancellor Emeritus Warner talked about a view of 40 years of his commitment and the growth of the institution. I don't think anybody else could have given that talk, Chancellor. It was a wonderful opportunity. I also would like to introduce one more guest, Mr. Willie Nelson, who is the board chair of the Southern Illinois Healthcare Foundation. Mr. Nelson, if you'd stand and be recognized. There he is. Now, you'd think I would have seen that in the red, wouldn't you? I was just going into the red. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure for me to introduce to you the 7th Chancellor of Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. Since 2004, Dr. Von Vandegrift has been diligent in his commitment to solidify the national recognition of SIUE as a premier metropolitan university serving all of our citizens. Whether it is in the new top 10 ranking of SIUE as a Midwestern Masters University in U.S. News and World Report, whether it's national awards for our programs from the American Association of Colleges and Universities, or whether it's the national championship in women's softball, you can easily see the evidence of his commitment and passion for excellence. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chancellor Vandegrift to the podium.
Thank you, Paul. It's a wonderful day, isn't it, celebrating 50 years, and I'm just thrilled with the opportunity we have to be here. And first of all, I'd like to join Pat in congratulating these outstanding directors for their leadership over the years that enabled us to get to this day. Thank you very much. And certainly with Chancellor David Werner working in collaboration. But you know, Pat was really very gracious in thanking these folks, but we've also had a director, and a really fine one, and a terrific staff here since 2001. And I'd like to acknowledge Pat Harrison and her staff for keeping that tradition going. Pat, thank you very much for everything you did. You know, today we celebrate, as the Provost said, a long-standing commitment to this region of two partners. I'm talking about Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville, and the city of East St. Louis. A partnership realized through this East St. Louis Center that promotes the vision of our university to be recognized nationally for the excellence of its programs and development of professional and community leaders. In November of 1956, the SIU Board of Trustees responded to a call from community residents for more local educational opportunities. 2 months later, the old East St. Louis High School was transformed into one of two residence facilities. Classes begin later that year in September 1957 at the Morrison School location, but within 1 year all classes were being offered at the high school. By 1965, coursework had shifted to the Edwardsville campus. The following year, SIUE launched the Experiment in Higher Education program at the East St. Louis location, offering general studies courses equivalent to the first 2 years of college. In September of 1970, SIUE leased the former Broadville Hotel in order to unite its East St. Louis programs. Today, the East St. Louis Center is housed in this beautiful facility consisting of 6 buildings, some new and some renovated. The center, specifically designed for educational purposes and completed in July 2003, now fully accommodates the many instructional services provided here, including distance learning classrooms, biology and chemistry labs, and an auditorium for performances and other special activities. Throughout the years, the East St. Louis Center has undergone several transitions. What hasn't changed, however, has been the set of values that serves as the foundation for the programming here at the center. Now, those of you who have heard me speak before know that there are 5 values at SIUE of which we are so proud. And I want to talk a little bit about those values and how the East St. Louis Center is a model for them. First of all, the value of citizenship, which is social, civic, and political responsibility, as well as active partnerships and collaboration. Here at the East St. Louis Center, that's exhibited in dental and nursing clinics that have been located here for a number of years, in the Small Business Development Center, which offers consulting services for businesses, in the School of Pharmacy, which recently opened the SIUE Diabetes Center, offering educational and disease management, in the Illinois Head Start programming that provides services designated to support all phases of child development and to offer training and support for the families of children, ranging in age from infants to kindergarten. Our value of excellence, which is continuous improvement and innovation, is exhibited here in the Charter High School, a school of choice for area residents with a focus on the arts. Through our educational talent search programs, college prep beginning in the middle school and assisting with counseling, tutoring, and the application process to college. In our Upward Bound Math and Science program, a college prep program for students interested in the fields of math and science, which provides career awareness workshops, field trips, and a residential program on the SIUE campus. Our value of integrity, which is accountability to those we serve and for whom we receive support, is exhibited right here in the center. Through follow-up phone calls and questionnaires, the East St. Louis Center monitors program quality and the continuing needs of students and residents. Alumni are frequently invited back to campus for events and informal programming. The center also receives funding from the State Board of Higher Education and the United States Department of Education and consistently submit reports to them documenting their success. Our value of openness, which means the inclusion of the rich diversity of humankind in all aspects of university life, and a respect for individual differences, and access for those who can benefit from our programs, is exhibited here as the East St. Louis Center provides services to individuals of all ages, preschool through adult, and students as well as their parents, serving more than 6,000 individuals annually. Also through the Project Success program that provides services to over 100 youth in protective custody in the state. And additionally, client needs are so varied that the East St. Louis Center offers innovative techniques and programming to ensure success. For instance, career shadowing opportunities for high school students and on-campus residential experience, offering an early taste of college life. Our value of wisdom, which is the creation, preservation, and sharing of knowledge, and an application of that knowledge that promotes the common good. Examples exhibited here are the TRIO programs, which offer parent workshops on assisting children with the college prep process, and the parents of our Head Start students who are offered the opportunities to return to school with the advantage of partial tuition reimbursement. As you can see from these examples, exhibiting the values of our university, wisdom, openness, integrity, citizenship, and excellence, that what the work of the East St. Louis Center is just based on the values and commitment of our university to improving the quality of life to individuals and families through educational, health, and social service and arts programs. The Center's public services for intervention at early ages has served to build a foundation to ensure success through completion of higher education. During all this time, during all these 50 years, SIUE has worked closely with the city to accommodate the growth of the East St. Louis Center, moving from the Broadville Hotel to this now modern facility. Through quality public service and strong community partnerships, the East St. Louis Center, and I say this often when I speak, is a national model for how universities and communities should work together for the good of the community. But thank you. And if there's any doubt for one moment how much we revere and believe in the work of this fine East St. Louis Center, you have only need, when you leave this tent, to look up and see the billboard that advertises to the world what is on this location. We're so proud of that. Thank you. We've had great help from other supporters. I don't know if they're all able to be here with us today. To mention a few, Representative Wyvetti Young, Judge Milton Warden, judge here today, and of course, the person who's going to be introduced more fully in a moment, the Mayor of East St. Louis, Honorable Alvin Parks. Good to have you here, Mayor. Before I introduce the Mayor, I'd like to congratulate the area alumni and program participants who have taken the knowledge gained and experiences from the university and the East St. Louis Center programs and achieved success. They represent us well, so those of you who have achieved success and are here today, give yourselves a round of applause. You know, today we kick off a celebration of 50 years. 50 years of engaging students, faculty and staff, 50 years of enriching programs and teaching excellence, and 50 years of excitement. We look forward to the coming years with renewed enthusiasm and appreciation for the past, present, and future significance of the East St. Louis Center to the residents of Southern Illinois. And once again, I thank you, each and every one, for all the contributions you have made. And now, I'd like to introduce someone else who's made great contributions and represents the great city of East St. Louis, the Honorable Mayor Alvin Parks. Mayor Parks is a product of the East St. Louis School District 189. He graduated from Morehouse College with a Bachelor of Science degree. He graduated from Washington University with a Master's of Business Administration. And while he didn't take a course at SIUE or graduate, he loves someone who did because his wife graduated from SIUE, and that's good enough to be in our family. Mayor Parks, welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. To Chancellor Vandegrift, to Provost Paul Ferguson, to the director here at the East St. Louis campus, Patricia Harrison, to all other members of the administration, the teachers, the faculty, the staff, the students, and the future students, along with all other well-wishers of SIUE, East St. Louis Center. I first of all want to thank you for allowing the city of East St. Louis to be a part of your birthday party. This is a wonderful celebration, and on behalf of the 31,542 residents of the magnificent city of East St. Louis, I bring you greetings and salutations. This is a wonderful day to watch you celebrate your golden anniversary. Today is a day that, quite frankly, I stand on the shoulders of all those mayors and city councilmen and city aldermen and commissioners, all who have come before me in partnership with SIUE East St. Louis Center for all the years that you've been here. This has been a tremendous partnership. We appreciate it. I will go back to 1957, even though I was not quite born. But I will go back and say that I'm sure that Mayor Fields, who was the mayor at that time, had to be very happy to have SIUE in East St. Louis for all the educational offerings that you provided then, that you grew to provide over the years, and today you have a magnificent campus here in the city of East St. Louis. And for that, we are truly appreciative. I'm so glad to hear Chancellor Vandegrift bring us up to speed on all that SIUE has done here in East St. Louis, because he's given you the reason that I'm about to do a proclamation. And this proclamation comes from the office of the mayor. And I'm going to ask Chancellor Vandegrift, Provost Ferguson, and Director Harrison to join me at the podium. Chancellor, why don't you come closest, because I'm going to present this to you. This proclamation comes from the office of the mayor, City of East St. Louis, Illinois, proclamation proclaiming and honoring East St. Louis Day designation. Whereas Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville's East St. Louis Center, located in the second largest metropolitan area in the state of Illinois, prepares to celebrate its 50th anniversary on September 26, 2007. And whereas the SIUE East St. Louis Center has played a major role in elevating and improving the quality of people's lives for more than 50 years through educational opportunities, as well as medical and social programs that have empowered citizens and the community. And whereas SIUE, since its inception, has contributed to the economic stability of East St. Louis and surrounding communities of the Metro East. And whereas the East St. Louis Center has provided outstanding services and support through Head Start and early Head Start childhood programs, the Charter School, the Center for Performing Arts, Upward Bound, EC and BEMV, Educational Opportunity Center, Project Success, and the PALS/Latchkey programs, And whereas the SIUE St. Louis Center continues to be the vanguard and on the front line of progress and growth in the East St. Louis and surrounding communities of the Metro East area. And whereas the leaders and staff of the SIUE East St. Louis Center never wavered in their commitment to fulfill the mission of the university and the center, which is to improve the quality of life for and meeting the needs of area residents. Now, and I'm going to ask any staff members who are here from the city of East St. Louis to stand with me at this time. I believe that Lieutenant Cole and our city manager had to leave, so maybe there's no one here. Now, therefore I, Alvin L. Parks Jr., Mayor and City Council of the City of East St. Louis, Illinois, do hereby proclaim and recognize Wednesday, September 26, 2007, as SIUE East St. Louis Center Day. In witness wherefore, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the City of East St. Louis, Illinois, on this 13th day of September 2007. Again, SIUE East St. Louis Center, and to all of our center past directors, we bid you on this day from the City of East St. Louis, congratulations. Thank you so much for the 50 wonderful years. Let's go for more than 50 more. God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mayor, I proudly accept this on behalf of our terrific East St. Louis Center, everything that these founders and builders have done for this area. And I will now pass this to Pat Harrison, who will put it on display here in the center for all to see. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go East St. Louis Center. Go Cougars and go Big E.
Thank you, Mayor Parks. Before I give you more history, may I please introduce Dr. Vandegrift's other half, Sue Vandegrift. Will you please stand? What would an anniversary be without history? You're going to always hear something a little different. And you can tell me something after I finish later today of something that I didn't know. Let me begin with what I have put together and say that in the 1950s, colleges and universities were rather provincial. They were snugged away in their various locations, awaiting those very fortunate individuals to arrive and matriculate. The mood among many Americans, fortunately, was upward mobility, and attending college was viewed as a means to that end. Extension courses for those who could not attend main campuses were becoming more and more popular. Recognizing the sign of the times, SIU, surmising that there was a large untapped source of potential college students in the urban community region, SIU had already established an extension center in St. Clair County in cooperation with Belleville Community College, now Southwestern Illinois College. The continued demand for these classes each quarter warranted the appointment of a full-time extension center director, and the position was filled by Harold C. of SIU. Largely due to C's efforts to expand course offerings in the region, the Illinois legislature appropriated money for the development of a center in East St. Louis. After his promotion to executive dean of Southwestern Illinois Residential Center, C was housed in the Broadview Hotel. Beginning in fall 1957, SIU offered its first group of undergraduate courses in East St. Louis at Morrison Elementary School. It was not long before enrollments demanded the need for additional courses and space. The center soon relocated to the former East St. Louis Senior High School at 10th and Ohio, affectionately named and called 10th Street Tech. The 1960s ushered in an era which saw the proliferation of federally funded special programs emphasizing higher education opportunities for individuals whose socioeconomic conditions prevented their pursuit of the traditional route to college. East St. Louis seemed to be a prime location in which to initiate an effort because there were a number of first-generation college prospects who were rated as unlikely to succeed in college after high school. In 1966, existing conditions prompted three noteworthy educators, Hyman Frankel, Donald Henderson, Edward Crosby, to prepare and receive funding for a proposal to address the needs of 100 local high-risk prospective college students through a special program called the Experiment in Higher Education, EHE. EHE and its teacher, counselor, faculty provided the first 2 years of intensive specialized coursework deemed comparable to the university's general studies program. EHE enabled hundreds of students to transfer to four-year institutions as juniors and complete degrees. Katherine Dunham, world-renowned dancer, choreographer, and anthropologist, also viewed the city as a prime location to cultivate deep interest in the cultural arts of African dance and music. In 1967, Dunham relocated her troupe of highly trained professionals to East St. Louis and joined the SIU family under the name Performing Arts Training Center, PATC. PATC conducted classes and performances under the rubric of the university. Having opened its doors in 1965, Southern Illinois University at Edwardsville was in full swing. Most course offerings and other academic functions formerly conducted at 10th Street Tech were now transferred to the main campus. To maintain a presence in the city of East St. Louis, the University Services East St. Louis unit was created and placed under the coordination of Lila B. Tier. Concerned that the university had left East St. Louis, Tier, through a Citizens Advisory Committee, petitioned the Board of Trustees to move the remaining operations, which were separated, EHE, PATC, and University Services, to a single facility. Therefore, in 1970, the university responded by securing the former hotel, Broadview Hotel at 411 East Broadway, on a lease purchase agreement. The impending consolidation of the Experiment in Higher Education, Performing Arts Training Center, and University Services created a new entity called the East St. Louis Center. The move to the Broadway was completed in June 1971. Arthur Grice was named the center's first director and served from 1970 to 1976. He hired me. During his tenure, the programs flourished under state funding. He set the tone for what the center should be through the Comprehensive Education Commission. This commission was comprised of representatives from the university, State Community College, School District 189, and the city. Plans were developed and implemented in order to bring these entities together to best serve East St. Louis residents. Grice was the ultimate planner and budget manager. The late Emil Jason served as director from 1976 to 1982. Jason was a scientist, academician, and grantsman. During his tenure, programs continued to thrive and were supplemented by federal grants, namely the Upward Bound Santa Suarez program. Also, teaching staff in the Experiment in Higher Education were granted rank and tenure track positions. He was very interested in institutionalizing East St. Louis operations. Johnetta Haley served as director from 1982 to 1994. The experiment in higher education had been phased out in June of 1982. The East St. Louis Center was suddenly a public service operation. That is, that there were no academic units. During her tenure, a number of externally funded programs evolved. They included, among others, Project Success, PALS, Latchkey, Head Start. The Head Start program, awarded in 1983 under Ms. Haley's administration, was among the largest federal grants ever awarded at the university. Haley was very big on publicizing her people and the center accomplishments. Willie Epps served as director from 1994 to 2001. Epps was noted for his grantsmanship and expertise on Head Start. Having served as director of Upward Bound Science Awareness as well as Head Start, he had tremendous insight into what projects ought to look like and grants writing. Educational Talent Search, Early Head Start, and Charter School were among the grants received during his administration. All of these programs are still in existence. Patricia Harrison currently serves as the director. Her grantsmanship has brought continued funding to the various center programs, including TRIO and the Charter School. Harrison has been instrumental in the establishment of partnerships internally and externally, bridging programs of the center with academic units at SIUE, and the establishment of the East St. Louis Center Community Advisory Council, which has involved and enhanced community input. All of the above, coupled with her commitment to empower people her commitment to this has provided people and surrounding communities with a one-stop educational shop at the East St. Louis Center. In conclusion, SIU and SIUE in East St. Louis have long storied history that cannot be presented in a few minutes. However, I hope that you've heard something that you didn't know. There were good times and there were bad times. As a personal note, I do believe that the goal of the Comprehensive Education Commission, which I first heard 36 years ago, has in large measure been achieved. The East St. Louis Higher Education Campus embodies the current concerted efforts of the university, community college, School District 189, and the city of East St. Louis. Over these 50 years, the university in East St. Louis has produced PhDs, teachers, clinical psychologists, attorneys, engineers, and internationally renowned artists, university professors, and administrators, to name a few. You should all be proud of all the contributions that you have made throughout the years. And I quote Dr. Willie Epps when I say, if you can't get it here, you probably don't need it. Thank you very much. I need to introduce the next individual, Eugene Redmond, who really doesn't need an introduction because most people know him. But for those few people who don't know him, SIU Professor Emeritus of English and Poet Laureate of East St. Louis, Eugene Redmond. He really needs no introduction. However, he has told me that he worked at the University of Wisconsin, Southern University of Baton Rouge, Leiden University in Holland, University of Lagos and Ibadan in Nigeria, and California State University, Sacramento. I saved the best for last because of all of those things and all of those places that he has been, what is not said and what might not be known is that Eugene Redmond received his baccalaureate degree at 10th Street Tech exclusively. He'd never attended a course on the Edwardsville campus. I learned that recently. And in addition to that, he was the first, in the first realm of the teacher counselor projects. When the experiment in higher education came into being, he was hired as one of the first faculty members. And so I bring to you now Eugene Redmond.
I am honored to have in conversation with me the renowned dancer, actor, and genius of the percussion, Mr. Ed Brown. There's some interesting configurations in this poem. You know, poets, we have what we call poetic license. So all of you will be able to get a copy of this and Dr. Cofield's speech and some of the other things that were said that are not in the program when you get a copy of this souvenir booklet over at the reception. SIEYU, SIYOU, sets 50-year sights on the variegated gardens of East St. Love. In memoriam, Joyce Aschenbrenner, Leo Cheers, Henry Dumas, Katherine Dunham, Experiment in Higher Education, Joseph B. Harrison, Eugene Haynes Jr., Flash Harvey Henderson, Vernon Ted Hornback, Emil Jason, Taylor Jones III, Leonard Long, Noah Lucatz, Lucille McClellan, Ina Peabody Sledge, Janelle Stovall, John Rendelman, Virgil Seymour, Lila B. Tier. Number 1, Proem, Recipe, Proto, Ethno, Socio, Metro Gumbo. Before university came communiversity, spirit village before human spillage, naturification before urbanization, elevation before escalation, soul arts before flesh darts, variegation before segregation, over wars and riots and floods and strikes and tornadoes, Earth House inhabitants treaded ancestrals, Cahokia mounds and sacred grounds, immigrants and indigents, ethnic creeds and abductees, Gothic gables and streetcar cables, garlic breaths and TB deaths, onion fingers and doo-wop singers, blues guitars and bruised slop jars, fiddles and skittles, seesaw and pre-law, low gas lamps and red lamp light vamps, scripture reader and animal breeder, lollipops and hot bebops, dough kneader and Dutch leader, baklava and hot java, beer songs and ice tones, brassy jazzers and razzmatazzers, gospel and polka, hostel and mocha. 1957, East Saint's drumscapes conjure 10th Street Tech. As a quiet coup, SIU commenced in noisy 1957. a sandwich year between Korea and Vietnam, spiced with space-age Sputnik and Elliot Rudwick, Elvis and Miles, Little Rock Nine, and Hula Hoop Grind, and the birth of Kellen Winslow, following a 4-decade goulash of sour blood from the riot of 1917, a malady tempoed by Duke Ellington's 1927 melody, East St. Louis Toodaloo. Duke's recipe, Swing That Thing, jazzed the decades of radio and baby boomers, Jackie Robinson and racial tumors, A Streetcar Named Desire, and a fear of atomic fire, and local honor rollers like Lincoln High's Wyvetta Young. Sending that swing, SIU galloped like a Saluki toward Blues City, singing, "What can I do to win your love?" And East St. Love, shining like brand new railroad tracks and puffing like smokestacks, staked a 50-year future on 10th Street's Tech. Already a nexus of rivers and lakes, we were drunk on this tasty new stream of learning, while the university whetted its hungry curriculum on an eager human oasis born a century earlier in drum and bugle scores of Illinois town. Number 3, 1963, Memoir, An Imperfect Quansaba. We were mere hyperactive students, debating nuclear war and civil rights, Greek drama and women's lib, MLK's Big March and JFK's New Frontier, the other America and Catch-22, until bullets raining on Kennedy in Dallas drained East St. Louis of its light. But what did we know? Number 4, flashbacks, flash fronts, maiden voyagers, veterans and visions. Like new millennium head starters, charter schoolers, teen scientists, and petite aesthetes, 57ers were Freddie ready, prepped as poets for the savage 60s, sedated 70s, weighty 80s, the nervous 90s, awash in our wait for Taylor Jones III, Henry Dumas, Katherine Dunham, and the experiment in higher education to open old sesame, the gates of consciousness, awash in our wait for R. Buckminster Fuller's geodesic dome to bloom in Lincoln Park, for Beulah House, Broadview Hotel, and this higher education campus to dress up in once deferred dreams. From these bloody, heady eyes, tides came freshman guides and freedom rides, slow gins and drive-ins, and frat dens, red wines and beer steins at Tony's and Pudgy's, Downbeat and Sneaky Pete. Number 5, movement, M-E-A-N-T. Awash in our wake, awake in our wash, a village conscious nest of knowledge, magnets for soldiers and secretaries, G.E. chums and E.H.E. alums, math and William Shakespeare, and minds of the stratosphere, pouring from rural, urban, plural metropoli, and stepping from Studebakers and Volkswagens, skating rinks and Metrolinks, horses and hearses, the Sudan and Japan, wheelchairs and timeshares, Motorola's and Toyotas, through thresholds threaded with eye-to-eye learning and heaven's high yearnings, where drums, brains, and feet meet to greet our 50th birthday and Yesterfuture's door to 50 and 50 and 50 more.
outstanding performance. I am Luella Hawkins. I was asked to chair this tremendous activity today. I am so proud. To Dr. Vandegrift, Dr. Ferguson, Ms. Harrison, special guests and friends of SIUE. It has been my honor and privilege to serve as chairman of the 50th Founders Day celebration of SIUE at East St. Louis. My committee has logged many hours planning this celebration, and we want it to be a memorable occasion for all to enjoy, and I think we have accomplished that. There are so many people that we have to say thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm going to recognize those people at this time. The East St. Louis Police and Fire Board, particularly Lieutenant Cole, who worked with us diligently. I believe they had to leave early, and we do want to thank them. We need to recognize Peggy LeCompte, who is the president of the East St. Louis Local 1220. She's also my sister. Ms. LeCompte, would you stand? She has a car in the parade. We want to thank the East St. Louis High School, Senior High School Marching Band, who did a tremendous job today. I would like to thank Patty Kesson, who was our mascot. Is Patty here? You didn't know that was a female in that, all of that fur, but that's who it was. She's the secretary in the director's office. I'd like to thank from the director's office, Renee Smith, Amber Suggs, Jean Smith, the SIUE St. Louis facility staff, the university police, and all of those who worked in preparing for today. My committee, I'd like to ask to stand at this time, starting with Dr. Redmond, Eugene Redmond, Sandra Fields, Amos Cofield, Ms. Harrison was ex officio, so I'm asking her to stand. George Mitchum was very hard working with this committee, and he's not here, but I'm going to ask his wife. She is here, Mrs. Mitchum, to stand, Helen Mitchum. And then we could not have done all of this without the larger committee members at the main campus, and they were headed by Dixie Engelman. I'd like to say she's my friend now because we've gotten very close. Dixie, would you please stand? Is Tim here? Is he still here? He was here. Her son, Tim Engelman. And I'd like to ask, oh, I forgot Percy McKinney and Patricia Merritt, who worked. Patricia just work. Patricia, come stand just a little closer so everybody can recognize her. She's the publicity director for the center, and she did a tremendous job. And of course, Percy is always his usual comedian self. And I almost forgot Kay Werner. Kay came right in and began working, and I really, really appreciate it. And we started meeting in '06, so you know this has been a tremendous occasion. This is just one of the many exciting events of celebration planned to recognize SIUE's 50 years of serving the metropolitan area. We hope that you will leave with not only the souvenir book or other memorabilia, such as a t-shirt that you've seen a lot of today, but also with special thoughts that you will long remember this occasion. Enjoy the tour scheduled, the music by Reggie and Company, and the reception to be held in Building D. While there, make sure you peruse the PowerPoint presentation and the collage of pictures for your pleasure and to bring back fond memories. Again, I thank Mrs. Harrison for giving me the opportunity to serve as chairman and continue to enjoy the day. Thank you.